So Carlson, right off the bat, I want to mention how much I loved The Blazing World. Very ambitious project, but one that really struck a chord with me. Um, can you talk a bit about, because it's so ambitious, can you talk a little bit about anything you learned, from that production that kind of helped you going forward with films like Trust?
Yeah, I keep saying this, but it's so true. Like Blazing World energetically felt like in some ways a dress rehearsal for some of the themes in Trust. And it was nice. It felt like I had kind of set the stage in my head. And then having the lens of thriller, of like contained survival thriller, I think it it was a nice kind of puzzle to put together in a sense. And I feel like I was able to, yeah, sail through some of the themes in a different vehicle, which was nice. It was like I know these roads.
And that's exactly why I wanted to mention it. I know you've done stuff between those projects, but the themes, they are, as you said, they're very similar. And with Trust, you've described it as deeply personal, almost like honoring your younger self, which I thought was really, really interesting way to look at it. Can you talk a bit about maybe your own personal experiences that kind of informed the way that you told this story? Because it is heavy. A lot of this film is heavy.
Yes, yes, it's very heavy. It's incredibly dark and delicate material.
Yes.
And um, I've been a child actor, like a semi-child. I started working when I was like 14, 15. We look back on our 14, 15-year-old selves and we're like, that's a child, but you feel very adult at the time. And I I think a child in the workplace is hard to reconcile. And so yeah, it was about handling the subject matter delicately and from a very kind of personal place, but also never staying in the victim is like this constant kind of like reclaiming of the levity and the reclaiming of power is really something that we were constantly trying to weave in. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of weaving, this film, it does kind of deal heavily with betrayal, survival. How did you approach weaving those themes together while keeping the audience engaged? Because this is a very fast-paced film. There's always something happening. If it's even like a flashback, there's something crazy happening. But it was definitely it definitely kept me interested, and I thought that you handled that really well as far as the pacing throughout.
Yeah, I mean, I think at a script level, there was a lot of piecing together that needed to come through just the script to production. Like
Mhm.
necessity is the mother of invention. We really had to use our set and make it work. This isn't like a huge, massive budget of a movie, which is a fun creative challenge. There's a lot of things happening and it all has to make sense. And I actually got locked in a cave bathroom last week. A door handle fell off, and it was very much God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, laughing in my face and making me remember that this movie is coming out on August 22nd. But I mean, there was in the edit, I love the editing process. It's my favorite part of the process, and that was a tone that you have to find. You have to like go find that in the edit. And Sophie is so generous and such an incredibly flexible performer that you're not bored. You're just never bored watching her. And so if I could connect the details, then it was for me, it was fun to watch and piece it together.
Yeah, I can totally relate to your story. When I was in high school, I got locked in a cooler in a gas station. So this film spoke to me. Yeah, just like you, the door handle fell and I watched it bounce like a film. And I'm
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And it was wild. And that isolation reminded me, and I know that you were inspired by Alien and Fargo, and kind of piggybacking off what you said about editing, how how were you able to like help with that process to kind of make sure that those influences still kind of helped shape that tone? Because I definitely sensed it as a viewer. So I was curious
yeah.
how heavy your hand was in that.
It was very heavy. Hopefully not too heavy. But yeah, I mean, for me, like there was a levity and a comedy to find in the dark places that, well, that's a hard thing to do sometimes, and it was really important for me to preserve that in the tone. And so the isolation of Alien was built into the script. The comedic tone was something that I had to play with and find. And it, yeah, it took a few months, but we did it. I was making myself laugh. Like, so hopefully it translates. You never know.
Yeah, I could definitely get the Coen brothers vibe with the robbers, and it was like different little lines that kind of all led to the same place, which was very
Yeah.
Fargo-esque in a way. And the idea, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, the idea of going from innocent to maybe like a feral warrior is kind of the ultimate theme, if you will, with this film. How did you translate that transformation both visually? Because I think that obviously we can even see in the poster how you did it visually, but as well as emotionally.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's one of the script. I mean, the geography, I think, of the Airbnb is it lends itself to a physical transformation. Something that I found in the script that I loved to play with was that this house is actually incredibly generous to her. It's the opposite of a haunted house. It's a safety house. And she hides in this room. She shuts the door and the door handle falls off, and thank God it does. Because if it didn't, she would be in more danger than if she was inside. And then it's like everything is kind of like a thank God moment. And then it fills with, I don't want to spoil it, but it becomes this kind of like womb of like
Mhm.
transformation for her. And she has to get dehydrated and remember the spider, like remember the pattern that she's inside of. And it's bigger than herself and it's connected to something really vulnerable and deep, and it's this mother wound like personified, you know. And I love that aspect of it. So it was great to find it with her.
Yeah, the rebirth, the motherhood. I thought it was really interesting how you guys, you know, reached those beats ultimately together. And what is that kind of what drew you to get Sophie involved for the role of Lauren, or like how did that collaboration come to be?
I met her and we talked about it and I was like, this is it's meant to it felt very very kismet, very meant to be. She is so brave. She's a brave person and she's a total badass. And emotionally, she's incredibly intelligent. And so it was we got to swim really deep together. And I'm so grateful to her for being able to swim in those waters with me.
Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't have that was an amazing answer. To wrap up, I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. And this is kind of a chance for audiences to kind of get to know you and see you in a way that maybe they haven't previously. Do you think that trust is a part of your thematic through line in your career, or as more of like a standalone personal piece? I know that you're
Oh,
kind of known for both,
so
but
it is so thematic. Yes. Yes. I mean, every movie that you do, you're bringing your sort of arsenal of weapons and things that you've learned into the next arena. And for this it felt like I got to use everything that I've learned so far. And it's absolutely a part, it's definitely a part of the thematic journey for sure.
Awesome. Carlson, thank you so much for your time. Here at
Thank you.
CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing, and you're doing just fine. I love your voice. So, and it's very refreshing to have someone like kind of have such a unique voice. So I look forward to every release, and I mean that sincerely. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jesse. That means a lot. I'm going to take that with me. Thank you.